my name is Maisie and I'm an FSBI funded PhD student at the University of East Anglia, and I am currently studying British shark species listed on the Convention for Migratory Species to quantify the interactions between them and our commercial fisheries. So all of my species are protected, which means the biggest impact fisheries have is through bycatch, which is the capture of non-target species. So I study 8 species of shark, and one of those is called the spurdog, which migrates both to and from as well as around the British Isles, and it's listed on Appendix 2 of the Convention for Migratory Species, which, amongst various other things, means we need to be monitoring the population. So I'm using CEFAS observer data from the past 20 years, and here I have mapped all observed interactions between spurdog and English and Welsh commercial fisheries. So the shading is observer effort, which is the number of trips observed across all 20 years within that rectangle, and the circles are the number of spurdog race to trip level seen in that rectangle over those 20 years. So by interactions, I'm referring to the instances where individual spurdog were caught in nets. So the individual could have been part of the retained catch, this being those that are brought to land and sold, or the discarded catch, which are those individuals thrown back to sea, whether that be due to legislation or because they're injured or diseased and cannot be sold on. So here you can see most of the interaction, which is this combined retained and discarded spurdog, is in the southwest of England and a bit throughout the North Sea. This is great to start off with, but as spurdog migrate, they have annual cycles in their movements, and during these movements they also interact with different gears at different times of the year. So I looked into which gear category they were interacting with most, which was gillnet and tramwellnet fisheries, and then I mapped the seasonality of their interactions. Each window is split into 4. The top left is January to March, and this moves through to October-December, which is in the bottom right. And you can see the interactions occur year-round, mostly off the southwest of England, and this is actually where the English and Welsh gillnet and tramwellnet fishery mostly occurs. But it's showing that the highest interactions, which are these darker orange and red circles, are in the second half of the year, so mostly October to December. The reason I wanted to talk through spurdog is because there was enough data to add another layer in assessing these interactions. So spurdog are known to aggregate by size and by sex. However, as they are present in similar areas, it's difficult to distinguish patterns between sexes when you look at the data overall. So one of the analyses undertaken was to look at the trips where large number of spurdog were caught. In this case, we chose a minimum of 50 individuals. Interestingly, this showed that more females, which are shown here in orange, were being caught closer to coastlines in the southwest approaches and the North Sea, whilst the males, which are shown in red, are caught further offshore. And then if we do the same thing but we look at the seasonality, so this time I've plotted in bi-monthly blocks, the females are mostly in the southwest at the start of the year, especially in March, and then they in winter seem to move along the southwest coast towards the Bristol Channel, whereas the males always seem to occur further offshore, but also seem to utilise the North Sea more in July and September. The benefits of this analysis is to map the interactions and identify the fishing métiers, and this is the gear and area combinations, around the British Isles where spurdog are having the highest interaction rates. So we have identified one of the fishing métiers, which are mostly catching and interacting with spurdog, are gillnet and tramwellnet fisheries in the southwest of England. So the next step is to quantify the survival of spurdog in the discarded portion of the catch. So I'm going to try and estimate dead discards, and I can add this to the retained portion of the catch from these fishing fleets to determine the overall impact of these fisheries on the population. And eventually this should be able to inform whether current management is working or if we need to make any changes to help spurdog populations going forward. Thanks for watching.